Good day, good day. It's Roxy B. Rocker of Embracing What's Possible, your host of the show where we get to share stories, where we get to have conversations around disability curiosity, and your possibilities because you deserve them. Do I have a guest today? OMG, she's my marketing manager. She makes me look beautiful. She comes up with the logos and the things and she makes me look beautiful. But here's the other thing. She's now one of my family. She's now one of my best friends. And it's an honor to have her today. And we're just going to have a lively intersectionality conversation around things around disability, around things about life, and around things around possibilities.
Yes, thank you for having me, Roxy. I love you. I feel the
Introduce
same.
yourself, sister love.
Oh, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. My name is Liz Theresa. I'm a website designer. I'm an intuitive visibility expert. I've been in business for 15 years, building really beautiful brands and websites for amazing people that want to rise and be the star they know they are. I love Be the Star You Know You Are so much. I trademarked it, which I always like to say because that was expensive and I like to brag about doing it. And yeah, I have a lot of fun in my life, in my business. I've got to work with Roxy too, and we have such a great time together. I'm also the host of my own show, Liz on Biz, which Roxy was a really memorable and powerful guest. Liz on Biz is 10 years old this year, and it is available streaming anywhere you like to get your podcast with new content every Monday.
I made her a song called Liz
You
on Biz,
did.
and it's
Liz is a
catchy.
star.
Hmm.
It's very good.
It's very good.
It came up in my phone yesterday because I was searching for a song for Leo and then I was like, Liz is a star, da, da, and I was like, oh, and I got
The
really
lyrics.
excited. Yeah,
I wrote the lyrics of that song too.
it was quite good.
It was quite good.
Yeah.
And my Roxy's is on there too. I gotta rewrite. I gotta go and get new music on that somehow.
Yeah.
Liz, do you remember the first time I ever met you?
Yes.
I admired you for so long
I
and I
had
thought
no idea.
I literally thought you were like this exclusive person that like only worked with stars.
Oh,
I
I
did.
do work with some stars.
I know. But I
Stars.
literally thought you only worked with exclusively like with star people and like you
Oh,
cost $5,000 to $10,000 to work with you. I was so intimidated by you. And it
oh.
was 2.5 to 3 months after I hit my head, I met you. And I don't even know, but I drove myself to Boston to some wharf and we had dinner there and
It was so fun.
it was really fun, but I was scared that day.
I didn't know. See,
Oh yeah, I know, but I was
I like
really
knew
scared
of
that
you,
day.
but I didn't know you. And all I remember is I have a white suit and I love that suit. I have a white summer suit. And so it's got really cute tailored shorts and a really nice jacket. And then I wore like a
Mm.
sequin top. It's one of my favorite outfits I have.
I don't know what I wore that day, but I know I was scared and I had a good time
Yeah.
and it was probably maybe the third or fourth networking thing I did with BBW, maybe the
Yes.
second. But
It
I
was one of the
remember
best events they ever did, though.
that was a great event on that
Hmm.
wharf. Like I'll never forget that event. I still don't even know how
It
I got
was the
myself
best one.
I
Yeah.
still don't know how I got myself out there. I think I had to go to a doctor's appointment that day because from my head,
Oh, and so you were already out?
I was already out and I think I could drive there and it was allowed very far from my doctor's. So, Liz, what do you think? We've been working together on this incredible, crazy idea that came to me when I sat in the hospital and it hit my head. Do you remember the story or do you even know the story?
No, tell us all.
Okay, so I hit my head and I hit my head on December 26th, 2021. Um, on December 28th, 2021, I woke up and there was six women around my hospital bed. And I went, am I alive? And I went, my head hurts. Oh, I feel like I'm going to throw up. And they said,
Oh,
be
awful.
careful, it's your neck. And I said, I said, am I in the ICU? They're like, no, you're on the sixth floor in the trauma ward. Oh, and I
Awful.
said, and there was a catheter inside of me. My
Ew,
head
those,
hurt. And I
Yeah.
had this neck collar thing that was squeezing my face, and they said it didn't fit, and they were going to get me something else, and I don't know. And they didn't like my bed because they said that I needed some kind of other bed. But I don't think I slept. I think I slept all day on the 27th, all night of the 26th, and I didn't know anything that happened to me until December 28th.
Wow.
And then, my guy that I'm with now, um, I was texting everybody, and you and I didn't even have a relationship yet, so you weren't texted. But I was texting everybody to tell them that I was not dead. Almost dead, but not dead.
Yeah.
And it was my neck, my eye, and my orbital bone. So I broke this. I broke this. I probably broke this because this still hurts. And
Yeah.
I've lost teeth. Unfortunately, that happens. Because it grinds so much and my jaw doesn't really work anymore. And and I don't know, there's all sorts of problems on my right side. I can just tell you that. So, but I sat in the hospital and I just watched, and all of 2021 I was in and out of the hospital because I also had a colon infection and I had to have part of my colon taken out.
Hey,
It
yay.
was a horrible year. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I don't
yeah.
think you know all about that year. So
That was a tough time.
I was in the hospital, and I had a whole year of being in and out of the hospital about 4 or 5 times. So I had a whole year to watch how people treat people when they're in the
Hmm.
hospital. Sometimes they're super nice and sometimes they're really horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm an advocate, so I stand up for myself. So I noticed that sometimes people weren't treated very nicely, and depending on who came into your room, you know, you are also weren't very supported by staff. So I realized that, what if if we can embrace who we are as we are, how could we teach or educate anybody else to know how to treat a person with a disability? How would we know? Like, because if you don't even know how to treat yourself, so I won't even say her name, but the former employee takes photos of herself on AI.
I saw that.
And right, and makes herself look like an entirely different human. So you're not embracing who you are.
Hmm.
It goes against the whole grain of like,
It's a really big
how can we,
problem.
right? It's a really big problem because how can we expect somebody to understand about the world that we live in if they can't accept it themselves? So I literally thought, magazines or conferences or ways about, I wanted to get the word out on how do we educate society on how to treat people and how to
Hmm.
understand the problems that go on out there. And there's a lot of people that hate themselves within their own disability. And I was one of them many years ago, and I've been growing
Hmm.
out of that and trying to heal. So, I wanted to have a way to communicate that, and from a marketing and visibility perspective, I think we've done a
Hmm.
really good job, but I also would be curious to think we've been at this for almost 2 years together because you and I have launched this. I feel like you're part of my magical team, and you and I launched this Embracing Disability as the history together. Like we did this from the ground up from when I said I'm
Yes.
doing it, and you helped me bring it to life, and I also had to re-educate you on a lot of things.
Yeah.
So why do you think I'm still not hired as a consultant, and maybe sporadically I'll get a couple of people that support me, but it's not really supported? But now you're seeing that things are starting to change and happen. What do you think about what we've been doing for almost 2 years now?
I think that it's an
Mhm.
important mission, but it's always hard to change the way people think. And the only way that you can change people think is by kind of doing the work that you do, which is to speak and educate on the
Mhm.
topic. I think in general, when you look at hospitals, I do feel like nurses pour from an empty cup a lot of
Yep.
the time. And then the first people to get, I mean, disrespected would be the patients. I would say, especially if you have a disability, you're more
Mhm.
prone than another or more vulnerable
Mhm.
than another type of patient. I mean, I recall when my mom was very, very sick, she had had a stroke and she had a partial, at first it was aphasia and then it became a partial aphasia because she had
Mhm.
really excellent speech therapy services. But she
Mm.
was so sad after she had her stroke, just devastated because it's devastating whenever you have a significant medical thing. It's devastating. And I remember saying she needs a therapist. She needs to talk to somebody. And they're like, she can't even talk. What's the point? And like, I was like, God, you're such a word I can't say.
Mhm.
Um,
Why not? We can
you
say
know,
whatever we want. It's
they
not.
said you're such an asshole.
Yeah.
I go, because like, I go, of course, somebody that's sad should always be allowed to talk about it. And just because somebody has aphasia doesn't mean that they're not capable of conscious thought. So even if they're more difficult to understand, or require more intentional care, it doesn't mean that it's not worth caring for.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
like I mean, there are things like that. I mean, I remember with my dad, I've gone through some medical things where they weren't giving him dinner and they like or weren't taking his order and other people were allowed to place an order for dinner. And I go to the desk and I go, why is nobody taking the order? And then they acted like I should know that he's on a special diet and he doesn't get to place an order. And I go, what is this I should know nonsense at these backwoods hospitals? I mean, this is a hospital, this is a massive hospital with an extraordinary amount of money, okay?
Hmm.
And then when they ask me for my feedback, you know, when they ask you, I go, do you actually want, you know, the people that come
Do
through,
you
I
want
hope
to
they did
know?
that. I go, do you really want to know what I think of you? And this is, of course, me after having cancer and having been treated at, I would say, the greatest hospital in the entire country, which is Mass
Hmm.
General. That is my opinion, though, right? But they are the greatest hospital in the country, and I'm in remission.
Healing my love.
Thank you. And they
Mm.
asked me, and then when you go to a different hospital, let's say a regional hospital that is in a suburb of Boston, and they say, what do you think? I say, I think you play for the B team. I think this is the
Yeah.
shittier hospital. And I said it right to her face. And then the
Yeah.
lady in the next room was like, yeah, she's telling the truth. And I go, and I'm
Hmm.
not even a mean person. I said, but like, I go, honestly, I go, the way you're talked to around here, it blows. And I said, and they have this particular hospital has an excellent ER, an excellent ICU, but if you go between those two floors, I go, it's hell. And I said, and nobody wants to be here. The people that work there don't look like they want to be there.
Thank you for watching Prospera TV Network. We hope you're enjoying the show. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
We are queens, yeah, let them see, ruling the world, full of energy, Moscow we're fierce and bold on your story, let your colors unfold. So we're the queens, standing tall and proud, in a world full of colors, let your voice be loud, but see those beauty, we're the fire, the light, empowered, unstoppable, ready to ignite, grab your shades, it's time for the glow, confidence in color, let the whole world know.
We are back. But I have to tell you, you're so right that like we treat people with such unkindness. And why can't we think, oh, well, oh yeah, you know what, Miss Teresa, thank you so much. We really didn't know that. We didn't inform you of this. Yeah, that was really on us that we should have really given you that information. And what do you mean that your mom can't talk? Oh yeah, we really should be
Mm.
thinking about that. Yeah, we're so sorry that you're in so much pain because you have a pelvic floor problem. Let's go see what kind of pains med we can get you so we can maybe calm down that pain because we understand that you also have a stomach infection and it must be really uncomfortable. What if we listened?
Yeah.
Right? Can we talk about some of the networking groups that we're in and how, like a place like Women's Business League and how they
Mhm.
really embraced it and they
Oh,
did
they
a
did.
whole thing
Yeah.
about inclusion and they were smart. And then, we have another group, we won't say its name, but there's another group that I think that it's so scary that they hide from it. And so that's the formation.
I think people always bypass things that they're too afraid of, because they don't know how to handle it. I think it's the same reason why there's not enough room for listening in a hospital, but I think
Hmm.
that there has to be space created for these things. And I think if we gave nurses more support, They would have the space
Yes.
to ask the question. If we look at the professional networking organizations, I think when you asked me why before, you think that, why business owners hesitate to hire for disability. I think oftentimes businesses are always late to hire. Small businesses are always late to hire. Real
Mm,
businesses, larger businesses, right? They tend to have more support and can hire for it better because they have the supports in place. Small business is always late to hire regardless of
yeah,
ability. They're just too
correct.
late because
Yeah.
they're too in their own thing. Then they think, oh
Mm,
gosh, if I hire somebody with a disability, will it be harder for me to actually get the work
mm,
done? I think that there's that, and I think it's a lack where that's where embracing disability comes in though, because that's where you can kind of come in and be like, oh no, that's the work still happens. And then you teach them about things
mm.
like, well, this is where you're
Inclusive.
intelligent. Yes,
My intelligence
inclusivity.
and
Yes.
inclusivity and my inclusive values campaign that's going to come up sometime this year.
Yeah.
So, I just think that and it gets me a little I get a little mystified, if that's the right word.
Yeah, yeah.
um that when I watch all of the container talk about disability, but I'm not really sure if they even know what they're talking about. Right? Like, I think the advocates in the schools, they know how to help the schools and the parents and all of that.
Yes, there's
I
more
think
of a
that
roadmap.
I think that there's a roadmap with the IEP. But then you throw out this word that didn't exist in 1977, 1979, neurodivergent. I don't know what
Hmm.
it means. Do you know what it means?
Marginally.
Yeah, I don't really know, and I don't
Someone
even
who
have.
neuros divergently.
I I'm like still kind of lost, and I know I qualify under it because sometimes I used to call myself an idiot savant, but now I think I'm a genius who's gifted.
Yes, I would agree.
I used to call myself an idiot savant.
There's nothing about you that is an idiot.
I think I'm very, 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 very intelligent, and I have probably a higher, and not a better brain, but I think my brain goes in a different warp speed than
Yeah.
most people. Like, I think my warp speed is just different.
I think
But
you go to uncharted territory in a good way.
handle me.
In a good
You're like
way.
one of like the out of 10 to 20 people that know how to handle me.
I look, because I think one of the most important things about and I would say getting to work with you, right? Because I do think it's a privilege that
Oh,
people
sweet
should
love.
have
I
to
love
earn.
you. I
I
love you
really
so
mean it.
much.
You're really
I know
great.
you too. I
And I
really
think one of the
do.
best things about it is that the best way to love you and to see all of the gifts that you have is to let Roxy be Roxy. And I mean this in a really positive way, is that I think where companies go wrong when hiring anyway is that whenever you try to mold a candidate into a role rather than create a role for a candidate, and when you think that's whenever hires are wrong. And it's never that there's a bad hire, as in the person you hired is bad. It's
Mm-mm.
that you're addressing
Right.
you're growing in the wrong direction. And if only we would let like a dolphin, they always say dolphins are one of the most intelligent animals in the world, but a dolphin is a genius at being a dolphin. A dolphin's not going to go do my taxes, you know?
Mm-mm.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like you're excellent. Of
And
course you are.
and I mean, I believe that God made me physically disabled, emotionally disabled, and cognitively disabled on purpose so I could see the world differently,
Yes.
right? Like, I
Yes.
think it was like this purpose gift, like, go ahead, see the world in your way and make it sparkle,
I always
and
wonder why we get
I
these
mean,
gifts the way that we get them.
right?
If we're here to,
I think
I mean,
so.
I don't know, soulfully evolve and become better. Isn't that interesting?
Correct. Yeah. Well, and the thing is like, sometimes they say we chose our parents, and I didn't
Uh-huh.
have very good parents. My light just flickered. I don't know if you saw that, but
Yeah,
my
I
light
did.
just flickered to the right of me. It flickered when I said we chose our parents. Raw. Twilight
Yes, you
Zone.
did.
So, right? Like, and I chose
Yes.
these very emotional, very disturbed, very disabled people, and a very emotionally disturbed and very disabled brother. And they were my family. And I had to live there. And I had to be in a world of hurt, pain, anger, which is not how I like to live. I like to live in play, and I like to live in joy, and I like to get as creative as possible and make things fly.
Mm-hmm.
and and
And they were there I mean, I almost wonder
and they
if
were there to hinder that.
to
And it
hinder
was like,
you. Yeah. I was gonna say hamper, but yeah, hinder you.
and as I grew and as I got older and as I got more freedom, I was like, but wait, I can just kind of start from dust and like sprinkle pixie dust in places and take things from stars and go, well, what could happen next? What
Yes,
can
you're a
happen next?
creator. I mean, you're a creator,
I'm a
and I think
creator.
we all forget that we all are. I
Yes.
think that some of us lose the connection to the fact that that's an immense power that you're
Hmm.
allowed to just. I mean, that's what a business really is it's a decision to show up and say, "Hi, I made up this thing that you can have in exchange for money, whether it's a service or a product, but you just kind of made it up, you know?"
I said I want people to sponsor this thing that I love, and I want you to respect this thing that I love so I can celebrate others and have resources to do that. And so God said, "Okay, well, we won't give you a lot of resources, but just keep going because something's going to happen."
Yes,
And holy mackerel, goodness gracious me,
it does.
it does. We threw the magazine on Substack.
Mm-hmm.
We threw the magazine on Substack, and I'm trying to see if I can find the original. I found the original. There's the OG, and it was called Inspiring Disability.
Yes. Those were
And
the good
you
old
did
days.
this for me in a year ago, and we made it in 2.5 to almost 3 months.
Wow.
Do you realize that? We did this in 2.5 to 3 months.
That
I
is
got
kind of unbelievable.
uh-huh. And here's the funny part. Somebody yelled at me the other day, and I was like, well, let me let you know, honey, I'm not changing my brand again. So I had to change the brand from Inspiring Disability to Embracing Disability. And the reason for that was I went into disability groups, and because the words inspiring and disability was in the same
Hmm.
breath, people were so mad and so angry. And they were like, inspiration, that's horrible. And I was like,
Yeah.
what in the world? What am I going to do? How am I going to make this, okay? Because, like, in a few years, people are going to hate my brand. And then I was in another thing, and she was like, oh, and disability is so outdated. Can we do celebrating abilities? And I said, but you're not looking at what I'm doing. You're not looking at
No.
the background of what I am. I said, exactly what I'm talking about is that. I said, I'm
I
not
also feel
changing.
like that's defeating the point.
Well, and here's the thing. In 1978, 79, it's the only world that I knew. I was labeled disabled with learning disability, blah, 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 blah.
Hmm.
It was 1970 something, 80 something. I wasn't born in 2001. I wasn't born in 1999. I was born in the 70s when all of these words were outdated. So I'm aged, and I'm only bringing my wisdom from my age group. What am I supposed to do? Change my age so I can cover that? We need intergenerational work. So I'm not changing the brand, I'm just elevating the brand.
Hmm.
And plus, the brand, guess what? Is growing.
You have so much to celebrate. Seriously.
Why did you love working on it?
Oh, well, because I get to work with you.
I know, but
But
why?
also because I mean, I think that, it's important for my own education in the world of disability to be in your orbit.
And and why, if people wanted to be in my orbit or people wanted to learn more about how can we tell them to be involved?
Oh my God, everybody should subscribe to the magazine. I feel like that's for everyone. The magazine is excellent. The content is really, really good. I love all the art. Like I get to see all that stuff up close. The content's excellent. So
Oh,
everybody should
I have to
subscribe on
tell you something.
Substack. I also think additionally the media packages and sponsorship opportunities that you offer are really cool. And so I recommend those. But I think to get acquainted with this and to make sure the messages spread loudly, everyone should start with a subscription.
Or watch the show.
Yeah, but definitely give us money.
Oh, well, I need resources.
You
Yeah,
need
but you know what?
resources.
But you know what?
Hmm.
We're gonna change that in a little bit. So we're moving from for profit to nonprofit.
Yes.
And there's a nonprofit called No Media Limits that I'm working with, who became the fiscal sponsor, and we're gonna fix that.
Yes. I want to hear about that.
So No Limits Media, they actually do documentaries. They did a documentary with our wonderful colleague Alice Stone.
Oh,
You
I
know
love
Alice.
Alice. Alice is
Oh
amazing.
my gosh, right?
Has Alice
Alice
come
is
on this
amazing.
show?
So Alice got together with, not yet, but they're
Hmm.
coming with
Yeah.
her, with Larry, about the documentary they did. So Larry talked to our friend Alice and Larry owns a media company with another guy named Artemis. And they've done like things around the Paralympics, and they've done things around certain things. And and they do documentaries. And so Larry was very excited about what the Berklee School of Music could do and how the Berklee School of Music could help educate on their orchestra. Did you know they had an accessible orchestra?
No.
They have an accessible orchestra
I
that's
don't
all
think I
just
don't I
civil.
think they should tell more people about
Well,
it.
they just did a film about this orchestra and the talented artists, musicians that are in it.
Why aren't you when's your movie coming out?
Oh, it's coming.
Okay, good.
I know we need to have a story about the Roxy B
Yeah,
Rocker.
I want to hear it. I want to see.
Okay, well, it's coming, and I think we're gonna work on it. I have a couple of people that want to work on it, and I got to find some funds to do that. So when I met Larry has this media company as well, then we need to kind of soften and reevaluate what his mission is as well,
Hmm.
because a lot of things have changed. But he was willing to be my fiscal sponsor, which means that we can now collect funding from projects, and he'll let us use his 501(c)(3) for a project.
Wow. This is going to be
Yeah.
great.
It's going to be great. So I'm really excited about that. So if people do want to donate to Embracing Disability, they could, and their sponsorship could be a tax write-off. We're
Yeah.
just trying to make it more automated and more easier. So be patient with us. If you are interested in donating, you know, get in contact with Liz Theresa at liztheresa.com or Roxy at embracing-disability.com.
Yeah,
If
we'll hook
you
you up.
We'll hook it up. If you had one phrase definition
Hmm.
on this whole world around embracing disability, what would you want to tell the world?
Well, my whole MO is about being the star you know you are. And I think in the context of disability, it's so important to be visible. I think
Mm,
education can't happen without visibility. So I think
correct.
step one, visibility, step two, education. And then
Hmm.
if there is, I mean, and don't, you're worth the trouble is another sentence that has like been ringing in my ear. Through the end of the year and just being reflective of everything is that I had to be my own best medical advocate with some of the stuff that I went through with lymphoma.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I think for anyone, I mean, like don't get swept under a rug somewhere, You
Right.
fight for yourself and you're worth the trouble. You're worth the trouble that it takes you and it don't worry about troubling other people. It's why they exist. It's like
And I have to
what are we
also
doing?
tell you, I'm going to also share this with you, and I
Yeah.
think you'll agree with this, is that you have so much to freaking offer. And the fact that you want to hide because you're afraid they're going to like eat you for breakfast, or you're afraid that somebody's going to mock
Hmm.
you or make fun of you. you know what? You're going to also find fans that are going to love you and
That's
embrace
true.
you and hold your hand. So I think it's costly for you not to show up. I think it's costly for you not to be visible.
100%.
And I have two words this year, and I think it's funny because I've been seeing a lot of people talk about visibility and they have no idea what they're talking about. They don't have any idea what they're talking about.
Oh.
Because I've learned so much over the last 3 or 4 years, that I
Hmm.
finally understand what visibility looks like because I'm being found and I'm being sought after, and that's what happens when you become visible.
Hmm.
And I think that the problem is that, I feel the most important thing is I have two words, the visibility. Well, one's a phrase and one's a word. The
Hmm.
visibility of disability. And because a lot of people have invisible disabilities, a lot of
Hmm.
times people want to hide. So if we can educate people on how not to be afraid of what you are,
Hmm.
and we can help people through that process, then I think that we can have a world of good, right? Like there's a world of good that could happen
Yes.
throughout this. I also think that when you are hiding, there's something else in the service that you're hiding. It's a mental health, it's a mental wellness, trying to get yourself more well. Because why are you hiding? If you cared
Hmm.
about yourself or you loved yourself, you would want to be celebrating everything that you're up to. And you would want to be telling the world about it and shouting it from every rooftop.
I think sometimes people have a hard time with self-love, and that's why, we always say to start with self-acceptance,
Hmm.
then self-like, then self-love. But like if you can
Right.
just start at self-acceptance, it won't feel so weird
Well, and it's
to
hard.
exist. It's
When
very,
I
I work
walk
on it myself.
when I walked into that room of all those women, I literally wanted to hide under that table. And I was like, you all are being nice to me, but I don't know why. You don't know me. I'm scared to be in this room right now. And then, hi, Roxy's here. I mean, I go into rooms now. Roxy's here.
Yeah, but everybody wants you.
Right? Like,
We're all like,
hey,
what up, what up?
we gotta talk to Roxy, the rock
Yeah,
star. We love you.
party like
You
a rock
know,
star.
right? And so, like, and that was a slow process of first accepting, first appreciating,
Mm-hmm.
doing mental wellness, taking care of myself,
Mm-hmm.
taking care of me, therapy, self-care, going to practitioners, whatever, right? But then I started going, I'm a badass and I love myself and I care. And yes, I am disabled, but I am brilliant, I am beautiful, and I am pretty spectacular. And so are you.
You are too.
So are
Yeah.
you. Hmm. But it's hard,
Yeah.
and even when you were going through your health stuff, I heard your self esteem.
Oh, it was hell.
It breaks you freaking down.
It was very hard. It was very, very, very hard. Very
Mhm.
unpleasant.
Girl, we need to do this like as much as we can, but I only have 3 or 4 slots a month, and I've got lots of people that, I have to share their wisdom with, but we're going to
Hmm.
figure out a way to celebrate our sisterhood, you know,
Yeah.
our sisterhood live on the air, baby girl.
Yeah.
But my show is called Embracing What's Possible with Roxy, Embracing What's
Mm.
Possible with Liz, Embracing What's Possible. What could you tell this audience to do when they're trying to embrace their what's possible?
I mean, I feel called to say first that it starts with self-acceptance, right? So if you accept that there are possibilities and you start to begin to accept yourself, I mean, I really thought about what I wanted for this coming year, which is
Mm.
I hope will be a great year. And then
Aw,
and
I
I
hope so
really wrote
too.
down I made my own vision board bingo card where in
Uh-huh.
each square I put down something that I wanted for myself. And so it feels sometimes it feels like, oh, it's really hard to do a vision board because it's kind of floopy. and like,
Right.
ooh, there's cute rainbow. Yay, I like those. But
Right.
it
I want a
doesn't
house.
feel
I'm not getting a
incredibly
house.
meaningful. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like it
Right.
feels a little, but I'm like, if you can come up with, for me, it feels a little bit better to just write what I want, and
Mhm.
just write some goals. And I do it in the context of a bingo card, and then I just highlight the ones that I want, as I do them. And like it's just a little bit more fun, and I keep it at my desk and stuff. So when you think about what's possible for you, I think giving yourself permission to just write these things down. I mean, if you write it down, I mean, I think there is a statistic about it, like that it's
Can you
exponentially more likely.
share the bingo card with our audience?
Yeah,
It might even be really fun if we did an event one day where it was the embracing what's possible or the self-acceptance bingo land,
yeah, that'd be fun.
and then like, different words are written on the thing and like I want to be feel more abundant. I want to feel
Yeah,
prettier. I want to have a photo shoot. I want to, like simple things.
really
Maybe I
simple. Like
should
mine
go
was
and buy
like
myself 3 new outfits this year. Maybe I should
try
go.
a new vegetable, try a new smoothie recipe. These are just some that are easy on mine. I mean, mine's taped to my desk, so I can't like show you, but I'll put it in the
Right.
comments,
Well,
when this
email it
gets
to me
posted.
because then when I
Yeah.
send it to the producer to get it cleaned up, we can send it in with the materials when the show goes
Yeah.
live.
Because
Yeah.
that's cool. It's really cool.
Um, I love you so
I love
much.
you.
I think this 45 minutes, 35 minutes went by way too fast. My version of it, thinking about embracing what's possible as the show host, is I'm always thinking about what if we could start slow and what if we could have digestible bites, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of self acceptance.
Yeah.
Well, all that I want to do is have a dog walking club with all of my friends that have dogs. Oh, I love music. I think we should have music celebrations where we either are listening to songs all together in silence or where we're doing karaoke or we're
Mm-hmm.
sharing about music. That's an embracing what's possible.
Yes, it could be
Does it
so
have to
small.
does it have to be huge? Not
Gosh.
everybody is all this A type of personality who is ambitious like us entrepreneurs that are like creating ideas out of dust and then trying to make them all work. And not everybody needs to be that person.
No, just try a new vegetable. That's like the
Yeah.
easiest one. I bought a weird one at the store, so I'm already gonna do that. I bought a
What's the
yucca root.
vegetable?
Yucca.
What? I like yucca. I've
I
had
like
yucca.
yucca. They have I've had it like technically a long time ago, but it's new in my house. Like I've never
It
prepared it.
it could be called yucca too, I think.
Oh, is it yucca? See, I say
I don't
yucca
know.
fries because
See,
they used
but
to
it's
have yucca fries.
tomato, tomato, uka,
Tomato,
yucca.
tomato, yucca, yucca. Yes,
Uh-huh.
yeah, potato, potato. I like it.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
exactly, right? But
Mm-hmm.
isn't that the embracing what's possible? You're trying out
100%.
possibilities.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a big deal. And so, yeah, we might talk about big ideas and big issues on here, but we can talk about the smallest stuff in the possible world.
Yay.
I am your host, Roxy B. Rocker. I hope that you see the likes of this amazing being again. And I think we just gave you some great ideas on embracing your what's possible and really, with it being the new year, try it out, see what fits, see what doesn't fit, see what makes you feel comfortable. Your
Mm-hmm.
disability doesn't need to be your suit. Your disability needs to be, yes, you have it, your medical documentation. These are the things that we have to deal with. But remember, you are the most amazing human being on the planet, and you need to find out who that looks like for you. Thank you so much, my girl.
Thank
I'm
you.
so blessed that you were here with me.
I'm embracing what's possible, heart open wide, where fear used to whisper, now love is my guide. I'm not just surviving, I'm setting the pace, wearing my story with shimmering grace. From shadows to spotlight, I rise and I sing, embracing what's possible changes everything. This is your Prospera era, where dreams align with grace, abundance flows like rivers. You step
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.